All right, Matt. Well, we're back. Um, Pretty much second to the last episode here. Uh, it's honestly not gonna be too long. Just
Crazy.
because,
Second to the last Spotify episode. I'll say that.
yeah, I mean, like we said, we still haven't decided definitively what we're gonna do, but at least probably the long planned out and uploaded podcasts will be gone for a minute. So we'll see. Yeah, we still got some time to discuss, but at least for the podcast, I think probably take a pause on that stuff for now. Um, but yeah, gotta when I don't even know when our next one's gonna be because Matt's going on a trip, so we'll have to see when he
Well,
gets back. But
the next one is gonna be the finals recap, I think.
finals
I'm
recap, yeah, I think we're just gonna wait for the finals recap probably at this point. But wanted to get a quick one in before then, so I mean, we can start with the finals since we've had two games now. I think NBA is pretty pleased that it's 1-1, because I think everyone was a little bit worried that the Thunder were just going to basically run away with this finals. Um, Obviously, you know, just Tyrese and the Pacers going to do something crazy, right? So, um, yeah, we can talk about the finals now. Game one. I mean, really it can be summed up with the last, few minutes of the game and just something about this Pacers team just so like I've been trying to think, Matt, of a team that's quite like comprised of this, and I can't say that I have like a good comparison for like a team that like we've said it this whole time, right? Like Tyrese just so inconsistent on a nightly basis, but obviously when it's crunch time, we know who's
Yep.
taking that shot. And honestly, more times than not thus far in his career, it's going in, right? So
This postseason though, isn't he like 5 for 5 with shots
yeah,
under
and it's
like 15
yeah,
seconds?
which is ridiculous, right? Like you figure eventually he's gonna miss, but like right now it's like when I see the shot go up, I just assume it's going in. And even like in game one, when I was watching it live, they get the stop on Shea, and here they go, and I'm like, it almost felt like slow motion as I'm watching it. I'm just thinking like, once I saw the ball get into Tyrese's hands, I'm like, here we go again, right? Um, I mean, I think counted out in pretty much every series they played in thus far. At least I have, like, I thought the Bucks were going to beat them. I think I had Cleveland beating them. I had New York beating them. I'm 0 for 3 on the Pacers. So at this point, I've learned my lesson, right? And I'm just like, as I'm seeing him take the ball up the court, you know, I don't have any stake on either of these two teams. But if I was just thinking, like, if I'm the Thunder, anyone else,
Yeah.
right? Like, don't you just make anyone else beat you? They don't even, they don't double, right, to get the ball out of their hands or out of Tyrese's hands. And of course gets to his spot. And as I'm seeing him pull up and the shot's in the air, I just know. I'm just like, yep, that's Scott. I'm like, seen this how many times before? Sure enough, shot goes in, and the Pacers steal game one from the Thunder. And
This game was crazy though because I thought it was more of a mirror of the Pacers Knicks game one in a sense where the Thunder was just dominating the entire
dominating.
game. It's kind of like the Knicks. And then, with about, 6 minutes left in the fourth, the Pacers are, we think, hopelessly behind. They're probably gonna lose. And then who else other than their wings? Nemhard, uh, Naismith, like those guys just hit big shot after big shot to give you kind of like that false hope, and then they start chipping away and chipping away. And as we know, if it gets down to crunch time and Tyrese has a shot to do something special to tie or win it, it's like like you said, right? It's like you kind of just expect something crazy to happen. And sure enough, that's kind of like what I saw. It was like a mirror of the Eastern Conference Finals game one. And in a sense, the same result for the Pacers, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, and just talking about that last sequence, right? So, like looking back, I was thinking, like, if I'm the Thunder, literally, I'm letting literally anyone else take that last shot except Tyrese, right? But at the same time, the reason I think this team is so unique, and I've said it for a while now, it's none of these guys are scared to shoot at all, right? From their starting five, and then you even look to their bench, like Obi Toppin in that first game had a lot of big shots in that comeback, right? Like he's improved as a 3-point shooter. So it's almost like because of how the Pacers play, they force you to respect every single guy out there on the court. Like from Miles Turner, who's their big, right, to some of their bench guys. Like if they're out there on the floor in the final few minutes, all those guys are capable and will take a shot. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that kind of helps contribute to the Pacers' success in these late game situations. But I'm like, why are you not doubling to get the ball out of Tyrese's hands, right? But maybe it is a testament to how the Pacers play, and any of these guys are willing to shoot and make a big shot. Doesn't matter the moment, right? So maybe that has a little bit to do with it. And Tyrese, he is such a good playmaker. I mean, like you look at the box score, dude only had 14 points, right? But I mean, he hit the biggest 2 points of the game, but still only, 14 points. He's only putting up 13 shots. Like, I think they're just so bought into the system, and it helps Tyrese be able to like have the ball one on one at the end because you got to respect the other guys. Like even Nemhard, oh my goodness, that move he put on Shea to cut it to like a 3-point game, right? I was like, what? Because
That was like
I
James
haven't even,
Harden.
yeah, like the James Harden crossover step back, on the MVP by the way. So huge shot there, and the Pacers just have a knack of putting these ridiculous runs together, and you can almost say it's so fluky, but how many times has it been now, Matt? I mean, essentially, like the Bucks won, the Knicks won, and now the Thunder, right? Like we've
Even the
seen these.
Cavs.
Oh yeah, the Cavs, like these improbable runs, right? In the fourth quarter where the game should be over, whether it's a double, like multiple double-digit leads in the fourth quarter, and every single series they managed to do this. So you can't even like say it's a fluke or it's luck now because they've done it at least 4 times in each series now. So I mean, tip your cap to these Pacers. Rick Carlisle's offense and everything because they just know how to get it done. But yeah, I think it was a good, almost like not a good loss for the Thunder, but you just if you figure right, the Pacers are gonna have one of these crazy comebacks, right? Like at least if you're the Thunder, you don't get like blown out. Because now I'm thinking like, okay, the Pacers used up their one crazy comeback, right? So as long as you don't get blown out, then you kind of eliminate that improbable run already. I don't know if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they used up their crazy run because
Yeah.
to be able to come back right from a double digit lead in the fourth quarter. Yeah, the Pacers have to hit shots, but you also need to get stops, like a consecutive run, and you can call it luck or whatever. But I just don't anticipate the Thunder stopping their off like or not being able to get stops, right? Especially with them being the number one defense. So not
For the
gonna call
Thunder,
it a
it was
fluke,
more like
but
it was like I would say for the Thunder, they missed a lot of opportunities because go back to the first half, it was completely one-sided. The Pacers were overwhelmed. It looked like a total mismatch on paper and on the court. There's too many turnovers, but the Thunder, I think there was a stat like they just couldn't capitalize off of the turnovers, and that just kind of kept the door a little bit open, that crack in the window that allowed the Pacers to kind of come back. So if they capitalize on, three, four of those turnovers and get a couple fast breaks, we'll be having a different conversation, I think. But sometimes that's how basketball is, right? If you can't capitalize on these gimmies, teams are good enough to eventually make a run. That's kind of how the NBA is now. There's no such thing as it's a 20-point lead. The game's
Yeah.
over. Like
Yeah. You're right.
long gone are those days. So
Hmm.
you always have to capitalize when you have a chance. And the Thunder missed those opportunities in game one.
Yep. Yeah. Game one was crazy. What a way to start the finals, by the way. And I mean, we looked so dumb after we posted that clip too, right? Like, I mean,
Well,
at least someone got it right though. So yeah, I
Hey,
mean,
I
hey,
think
Demi knows
if
ball,
anything,
bro.
I look the most dumb, but in a sense, I'm gonna defend myself because I'm not saying Tyrese is a bad player. I'm just saying in the whole scheme of it,
Yeah,
like I still just think there's gonna be a narrative whether he wins or loses. I'm not saying, he sucks or he's, the
okay,
GOAT.
bro. Just
Like
admit that Demi called you out and you were wrong. So,
Hey,
but
I'm
nah,
not. Yeah, she knows ball. I have to admit that. So shout
yeah,
out
that
Demi
was.
for that crazy, I guess, prediction for calling me out.
Yeah. But yeah, game one was crazy. What like perfect way to start the finals, I think. I think it helps too because I think the NBA was a little bit concerned, like, oh no, Pacers Thunder, like who's gonna watch this thing? Right? But now you have like the crazy game one finish, and now it's like the MVP versus like the clutchness of Tyrese, essentially, right? So it almost forces viewers to have to watch the whole game because you can never be too sure, right? Um,
Well, now it's like,
especially with these Pacers. So
I would say it's maybe the opposite. It's like, well, we don't need to watch the first three quarters because in the fourth quarter, the Pacers are just going to pull off some kind of Houdini comeback and
yeah,
it'll be
that's true.
close.
That's true. But at
But
least they'll
that's
be
still
watching.
ratings. Yeah,
At
that's
least
true.
they'll be watching at the end, right? When it counts. But game one, insane. Um, moving on to game two, that was today. I didn't get to watch a ton of it, but the parts that I did watch, um, Thunder defense looked like their usual self. I think they felt that pressure a little bit at home, right? Must win game probably in their eyes. And they came out to play like defensively. I thought they were tenacious. Lou Dort, um, Caruso, like Shea, Hartenstein, Holmgren, like all these, everyone on that Thunder team, I thought just upped the intensity even more, Matt. And you really saw like they were able to take the Pacers out of their flow a little bit um, throughout the game, build that big lead, and more importantly, in the fourth quarter, right, they didn't take their foot off the gas at all, right? Still able to convert. Big for performance from their bench guys. Uh, I mean,
Wiggins.
Wiggins, kind of like one of those guys where he's been a solid guy for them all year, a good rotational piece all year, but stepped up big 5 threes from him. And I mean, you already know how I feel about Alex Caruso, right? I still dread the day that he was let go from the Lakers. So yeah, big performance from him. And like we kind of said, right? Like Shea has been, you just kind of expect what you're gonna get out of Shea, right? Another third, like, oh yeah, like you look up and Shea has like 30, and it's like, oh, I guess yeah, just the typical Shea performance, right? Um, but I thought overall the highlight of that Thunder team today was that defense, like really made the Pacers look more uncomfortable on more possessions than I think we're used to seeing out of them, Matt. But uh, yeah, at the same time, I just think like, man, I get how the Pacers play, but if I'm Tyrese, like we got to get up more shots if we're down. Like find a way to be more aggressive at least. And try like look for that score first. But I don't think I think that's like the double-edged sword you get with this Pacers offense, right? Like everyone can be involved and is involved, but that means everyone's going to shoot, whether you're having an off night or not, right? That's kind of how it works. So, I mean, like Obi Toppin, who had a great game one, like not a very good game today. And like the percentages aren't like terrible, if you look at it, like shot 45% from the field. Um, so it's like that's not a terrible number, right? But I just think the fast break points were kind of limited. Thunder knows that the Pacers like to get on a run, kind of adjusted from there. Um, and I mean, you can say free throws, you can say whatever the case was, but I just thought that the Thunder defense much better um, at adapting to that Pacers like style of play. And yeah, it was just a cleaner game, I think, from them from watching
Yeah,
it. So yeah,
I think so too. And it also helps too, like for the Thunder's sake, role players typically are going to play better at home. So a guy like Wiggins, I mean, Caruso is like, well, yeah, he's a role player technically, but he's a veteran, he's a champion. But at the same
20
time,
points though. Hey, if you can
20
get 20
points,
points,
yeah, that's the thing. If you get 10 plus from Alex Caruso, scoring wise, like that's gravy because he's gonna do all the dirty work, the blocks, the steals, rebound, just play on ball defense like a beast. Like that's what you get with Caruso. But for him to give you 20 and you get Aaron Wiggins going crazy from three, so that's what 38 points just with those two guys off the bench. Like that's production that's hard to beat, especially with Shea giving you a quote unquote typical Shea performance. And like that's why I'm still confident in the Thunder winning. Maybe even in five still. Like that's might be a push after the loss to game one, but Shea has been more consistent to this point than Halliburton. That's facts. Like you can't debate that. But with Tyrese, it's like when he shoots, it typically goes in. Like it's a funky shot, but he can make it. So like you said, I want Tyrese to come out with that a little more killer instinct in game three. Like, let me set the tone. And I think it was what game was it in the Eastern Conference Finals? I think it was game four. Like, that was one of the best games I've seen Tyrese play. Like, I think it
I
was like
think
a
that was
32.
a 30 something point game. Yeah.
Yeah, but he came out, he had like 20 something in the first half. Like, he just dominated from the start and really just put the Knicks behind him. And from there, he's dishing it out. Everybody else gets going. So I think I want to see that Tyrese in game three because if that Tyrese comes to play, the Pacers, they're they're dangerous, as we all know. So they'll have a real shot at maybe, I don't want to get too far ahead, but at least go back to OKC in game five, tied 2-2.
Yeah. And I think this series has a potential to go seven, just based on the Pacers' like ability to really just never be out of a game. Like it sounds so like easy to say, right? Like, oh, 20 point lead nowadays is nothing. And it's not what it used to be, but it still, takes defense and shot making, right? So for them to have done it this many times, I think, you can't ever count them out. Um, and I don't want to say like I trust them more in these late games situations, but it's more the fact, like I've been saying this whole time, whoever's going to be on that floor in the fourth quarter, like, isn't going to be scared. Because sometimes I think that gets into these players' minds at times, right? It's like if you're not always the guy, right? It's easy to be a little uh, unprepared, might not be the right word, but I'm always thinking of it like in baseball terms, right? When it's a late game situation, right? And you're not used to being in those situations, right? Like something that's a routine play, like your heart just beats a little bit faster, right? Um, and sometimes when you're not the guy, like we know Shea's the guy for OKC. We know who's gonna have the ball in his hands. And yes, Tyrese has had the ball in his hands and made the big shots. But like I've said, like Nemhard hits big shots. Miles Turner, we've seen him hit big shots. Neesmith against the Knicks, right? He went ballistic in the fourth. Like none, I don't think any of those guys are going to be scared
You
at
didn't
all.
mention Pascal too, who
I
won
mean,
the championship
Pascal
before.
championship, yeah. Like any of those guys that are going to be out there on the floor are going to be like, it's just going to be another play for them. And that's the only thing I'm thinking of on OKC side. Like I know Shea isn't scared of the moment. He wants the ball in his hands. He'd be willing to take that shot. And I'm sure all those other guys are going to be ready. But when you're not put in those situations to have to take that shot, I'm just like, maybe I'd favor the Pacers just a little bit more. So I mean, I still think the Pacers have a chance. I'll still lean on them to end up winning the series and create maybe one of the oddest championship teams
Yeah,
that I can really remember in recent history. But I think it'll just be pretty funny and interesting for the NBA, honestly. But yeah,
it definitely would. It definitely
yeah,
would.
and so
I
yeah,
wonder what Adam Silver is thinking,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
like
what could
what does
Adam
he
be
want?
thinking right now? Like, I'm sure, because the NBA it thrives on stars, right? We've known this for a while. And it's just so funny that we have to debate whether or not Tyrese is a star or not. I mean, like I said, I think the championship will bring him a ton of credibility, right? But when you have these performances, and let's be honest, nowadays, like the assists are cool and great, but it's really about scoring and looking at the box score and saying, I had this many points. I helped this, the team win because I was the best player out there on the court because of me, right? Like you look at almost every other star-studded team across the league, like there's no doubt of who the stars are. But with Tyrese and the Pacers, for them to be able to get this far, and we're having debates on whether or not Tyrese is a superstar or not. Um, yeah, I just think it creates such an interesting situation for like the NBA. You know what I mean? Um, but I guess yeah, that's on the NBA to help figure out like what are we gonna do if the Pacers win? Like how do we market this team now? Um, so yeah, man. I guess looking ahead to game three, you want to just make a quick prediction? I got the Pacers. I think Indiana's gonna be bumping. And I think they're gonna be running. I still think it'll be a good game, but I'm gonna take the Pacers game three.
You're gonna take the Pacers. I'm gonna take the Thunder. I just think minus that stretch in the first game where it was just kind of it got stuck a little bit. They've controlled both of these games in terms of the tempo, the way that they want to play. I feel like the Thunder have been that team so far, minus that lapse. So I'm gonna continue to just say the Thunder will control the same outcome. Like I just think they're the more talented team right now. And I just think, like I said, it all comes back down to my same breakdown on why I'm picking the Thunder. I know I'm gonna get from Shea. Shea's gonna get 30. Some way or another. It might not be the way people like it because he'll shoot 15 free throws a game and slow the game down. And that's how you counter the Pacers because they want to run and gun, they want to run up and down, back and forth. What's the best way to slow them down? Get to the free throw line, Shea makes them, and you can get your defense set and not allow a quick basket. So I just think the Thunder have that ability to control the pace of the game, even with these running and gunning Pacers. So give me the Thunder in game three. But I will not be surprised if we go back to OKC for game five being 2-2. I'll still pick the Thunder to win the series, but I really hope it's 2-2. I will say this. I want a long
Yeah,
series.
I mean, I also hope it's 2-2, but um, yeah, I mean, I guess that's really it. It's only been two games. We don't have a ton
Yeah.
really to talk about, right? Um, so I guess we can kind of look to wrap it up for the finals already because yeah, it's only been two games. It's not a ton to talk about there.
We don't have a fortune
Um,
ball. We don't know what's going to happen next.
yeah, so nothing crazy really in the NFL thus far. So I guess we can just talk baseball already. I mean, figured this one was going to be a quick pod. Anyway, the next one will be the long one, where we kind of wrap everything up. But yeah, we can get on to baseball here, Matt. So, your Yankees played today. Big series coming up. But
Uh,
yeah, how are we feeling?
this one sucked a little bit because anytime you lose to your arch rival, not a good feeling. And especially the way that we have been playing over the past few weeks. Like I think the Dodgers series was the one series we lost in a sense. But we bounced back. We're playing well. And we win the first game against Boston and then kind of just two ugly losses back to back Saturday, Sunday. Um, the Sunday one was a little more painful, I think, just because of who was on the mound. Yarbrough pitched yesterday. I mean, he's been pitching pretty out of his mind, I will say. So sometimes you just don't have it. A certain day, Yarbrough just he didn't have it. The Red Sox were sitting on his 85-mile-per-hour cutter, teeing off. But hey, for a number five guy in the rotation, I couldn't be complaining for what he's done so far. Like one bad start is not gonna kill me. But this one was a little sick today because who was on the mound? The Red Sox had Crochet on Saturday. It's like, well, that's their ace. But this one, we had a rookie on the mound talking trash about the Yankees, and we had Carlos Rodon, who has been spectacular for the past how many starts. So it's like, yeah, we got to get this one. We punch him in the mouth. Aaron Judge says, yeah, you don't want to play for the Yankees rookie? Well, watch this and
Hmm.
take some absolutely deep. Um, but after that, it was just like, oh, Rodon just started losing command, and walks just really just piss me off. Honestly, it's just so deflating when you could have a solo home run versus a two-run homer or a three-run homer, allowing one or two walks and a hit. Like that's the thing that's so frustrating. And then he just didn't have it today. Just kind of sucks, to be honest. But I don't know. I just think the real red flag though is the bullpen. It kind of showed a chink in our armor that yeah, our starters didn't have it, but our bullpen wasn't able to keep us in the game. Like our offense punch back. Like our offense was scoring. Like we had no problem scoring this series, but it's more the bullpen. Like we just couldn't hold guys down late, and then right when we kind of get back into the game, they give up, a couple runs late. So it's just like we got to have those shutdown innings after you score. I think it's like that's the changing of the momentum, um, putting pressure back on your opposing team, but we just aren't able to do that. So, Loizica has been pretty shaky, honestly, since he's been coming back. Like he had a bad series against the Dodgers, another bad outing. Uh, Today, Hamilton has been shaky so far. So there's just a lot of these guys, especially in the middle of the bullpen, that just aren't putting up clean innings. So yes, I guess it's in a good way. I'm glad they're showing it now before the trade deadline because this shows how much we need pitching. You can never have enough pitching. And I think with Weaver out, like we're down a little bit. So we're gonna need guys to obviously pitch better in the bullpen. Um, But yeah, we need to make that adjustment come the trade deadline. We need a high end reliever in addition to Luke Weaver, in addition to Devin Williams, in addition to Tim Hill, in addition to Fernando Cruz. Like we'll get Jake Cousins back eventually, so that'll help. But yeah, the bullpen has been very shaky recently. So that's the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned of. Good thing we had a big lead in the division because we are still 4.5 up in the division. That's still a great place to be, I will say. But we were like 6.5, 7, you know, a week ago. So the lead dwindled down a little bit. But, I can't complain with a 4.5 game lead at this point in the division. So just got to come back out and beat Boston again next week. It's just going to be in Fenway this time. So Just pray the bullpen just doesn't melt down again. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we haven't been too much better, honestly. Um, I guess because when is the trade deadline? July, right?
Trade
So we,
deadline, yeah, end of July.
yeah. So I mean, there's still a bunch of time. Um, but yeah, always tough, like to lose to your
Your
arch rivals.
rivals.
Yeah, that's never fun. Um, but I guess if I can just really quickly get into my Dodgers, it's been a little rough. We've been going through a rough patch. It seems like for like a month and a half now. We've just been like teetering on 500. Um, but somehow, some way, as good as the West has been, we're still like a game up in first place. I don't know how. Um, I think Giants and the Padres have also kind of been teetering around that 500 mark after such strong starts to the season. But man, this Dodgers team, I mean, I haven't lost any faith in them at all. Like banged up still, right? Starting pitching has been an issue, but the past few days, a little bit concerning, I would say, because like the hitting with runners in scoring position has been terrible. Like we got blanked for like I don't even know how many innings. Because we got shut out the first game against the Cardinals, and then we went 8 innings the next game without scoring a run. So it's like after that explosion against the
The
Yankees,
Yankees.
we've been kind of like just yeah, right? Not really doing too much offensively. A lot of guys I think slumping right now, but I think I have faith in the staff and I have faith in Dave that he'll figure it out, right? But man, just the inability to hit with runners in scoring position the past several games has been pretty tough to watch, especially because we were leading or we might still be leading the league with average um with RISP. So like that's been kind of how we've been staying in games all year. I think the hitting hasn't been as consistent, but it's like when we do get guys on and do get the chance to score, we've been knocking them in. So, if we can't do that and our starting pitching has been up and down this whole year, it's like, okay, we still gotta, make it through the season, guys. So hopefully it's just a little slump that we broke out of today, so hopefully that sticks a little bit because it's been like, oh, we're back, and then the next game we score 1 run or something like that. So hopefully we just get back to being a little bit more consistent. I think a little bit too roster wise. Like I don't know how the Dodgers view Hae Kim, but dude has been nothing but solid to good, or I think he's been really good in the chances that he does get to play. And, they don't hit him against lefties, but I think he's like 2 for 2 against lefties so far. Um, you look at the stats, he's hitting 400 on the year, right? But I mean, he's had 58 at bats now, and he's still at 400, which is pretty impressive. Like he has good bat to ball, and he has that speed, that we don't really have a ton of right now. But more than anything, it's yeah, just having a guy that can get on at the bottom of the lineup for Shohei or the guys at the top of the order to bring in. I think that's been huge, and I don't know if it's they really feel that strongly about him not hitting against lefties or what. But to me, he has to be an everyday starter. And I think the ideal lineup, like you just put it on paper, right? Shohei, Mookie, Freddie. Then you can go Teoscar Hernandez, a Max Muncy, a Will Smith, Andy Pajes, who's having a breakout year, Tommy Edman at 8, and then Hae Kim at 9. Like that's a pretty outstanding starting 9, I would say. And I think playoff time that should be the lineup. Hopefully, hopefully Hae Kim earns enough trust from this team to be able to go out there and be an everyday starter. And then you still look, you can have Conforto off the bench, Kike off the bench, Dalton Rushing off the bench. It's a really good team. Like on paper, it's just we need to be able to put it together, like string hits together when it counts, right? I mean, that's any team, but with how talented this team is and the payroll that we have, no excuse for putting up 0 runs for almost 2 straight games. I'm sorry, but there's just no excuse, right? Um, so yeah, I'm confident still that we win the division, but yeah, hitting wise, that's been a problem. And just the starting pitching, we just need to get healthy, really. Like no Roki, I think Gonsolin just went on the injured list again. Um, Glass now, obviously Snell. But I'm like on a bigger issue, and maybe I'll round it out, in my send off on the last episode, but what is up? What are they doing to these Dodgers pitchers? Like, is it the training staff? Is it our philosophy of how we train? Is it how we tell them to throw? I don't know, Matt, but it's too many times we've seen Tommy John shoulder injury, like out for the year. And it's not just, I think when there's a pattern, you need to identify it. And there's clearly a pattern of players getting injured. Look at Gavin Stone, right? Gonsolin, May, all these guys that have been really young, really good, and then season-ending injury, season-ending surgery, and we're like, it's like, why?
It comes out of nowhere, yeah.
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere, and I'm just so confused. I don't know. Maybe in a little bit more or a few years from now, we'll have the data maybe on is it the pitch clock, right? Because pitch clock still relatively new. I still think good for the MLB regular season. I still think I stand firm on the none during the postseason, but maybe that's just the game has adapted thus far. Okay. But if it's causing our star players to get hurt, like is it worth the entertainment value for the average fan, right? If our players can't play. So I do think the Dodgers need to look into, I don't know if it's the pitching staff, it's the collaborative effort of the training staff and the pitching staff, but this has been going on too long now. And it's really unacceptable, I think, for elite players and athletes to not be able to last through the season. At least this many and this often. Like you're always going to have a few, right? You're always going to have a few, but when it's like every year, now he's down. Now it's his turn. Now it's his, like, I don't know, Matt.
That's why you guys
Something has to
signed
change.
literally every pitcher possible in free agency.
And it's still not enough. We're still calling up Justin Robleski to go start, and we're going to DFA him the next day, right? So it's like, I don't know. It is only June, but ridiculous at this point, in my opinion. So something's got to change, Matt. I don't know what it is, but something's got to change. Um, but yeah, I think I'm pretty good on my Dodgers. Uh, Still not too bad, but I mean, I don't really have anything else. I
All
think
right.
we've
Quick
kind of
hitter
hit our
time.
limit. Yeah, so we can just go start to wrap things up.
All right. Jerry Jones Award winner this week. I'm gonna go with the Sunday Night Baseball broadcast and the incident with Jazz Chisholm. I was watching the game. Just kind of like almost like kind of knew something was gonna happen, especially because it's Jazz Chisholm. But these in-game interviews, it's exciting, but
Hate them. No, I hate it.
I feel like it's exciting, but only for like I feel like they have to be outfielders, you know? Like I feel like infield, there's just too much going on. Like you're too close to the play. Like it's just I don't like the whole infield part of it, especially like guys like third base, shorts, like that's like where the action is coming.
All-Star
Like
game, yeah, but during a
yeah,
regular game, like even in OPL, I'm thinking like, okay, we got to do the right, and it's like you got
well
to be able to
yeah,
react, and like
that's why
so
in
when you're at
jet
the
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Like I think as an infielder, you're thinking every single play. The ball is hit to my left side, I'm gonna go here. The ball is hit to the right side, I'm gonna go here. What am I gonna do if he bunts? There's all these things that you're thinking of every situation. In the outfield, I would say it's a little different. Like you maybe get away with those interviews. I think it's more like, well, if there's a runner on, I'm gonna throw it here. Like, if the ball comes to me, which base am I gonna go to? But it's not like, oh, if there's a bunt, like if there's a bunt, you're not really doing anything. You're just kind of shadowing. You're going to trail. Maybe if you're in left field, you're going to just kind of shadow to third base. Or if you're in center, if there's a bunt, you're kind of creep in a little bit, just in case there's an overthrow to second. Like I feel like they have to do a better job of picking who to interview because third base, that's the hot corner for a reason. Like shots come and guys have to just react. Like, and Jazz is trying to talk, 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 and the ball's hit in the hole. Like, I just didn't like that. Like, I don't even blame that error on Jazz, to be honest. Because even in his like while he was trying to field the ball, he's trying to talk into the earpiece, like, oh well, here I go. Like, it's like I just did not like that. So they need to change that. Just take it out of the infielders. Like, I get what they're trying to do, but
I don't. I hate it.
limit to outfield if they're going to do that. I don't like it either, but I understand what they're trying to do, but not in the infield. I just don't like the infield part. The outfield, maybe you can get away with it, but yeah,
Like
come on,
I don't
do
know
better.
what are we that bad at commentating that we have to interview players for entertainment value? Like the OG, right? Vin Scully during a baseball game, and yeah, we got the pitch clock now, so there's not as much time to fill. But right, like so good at just marrying
Yeah.
these stories of players right into the game, commentating, keeping a nice flow. Obviously, we'll never have another Vin Scully again, but right, how many times do we see good baseball announcers? They'll talk about, oh, this guy's up to bat. Interesting story about him. Da 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 da. Right? Like to me, like that's at least a little bit more on that broadcasting side. And you don't take away anything from the game. I just really do hate the on-field interviews, like the manager ones. I'm all for the manager ones, right? Like they're not having to react right away. They can be able to talk, and it's not gonna, affect the outcome of the game. So yeah, I hate the on-field interviews.
Or what they can do to a happy medium. I'm not saying, well, like what about a DH? Like at least the DH is not on the field, but they're kind of part of the game. But granted, it's like who's a popular DH in the game, like Shohei, like Stanton, if he's Alvarez from the Astros. Like I mean, that's another alternative, but it's like the infield one is just there's just too much that happens in the infield every pitch. But I think I understand what they're trying to do, but just outfield at the worst case scenario. But leave the infielders alone. Do not touch them. Do not bother them.
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess that's why they're not doing ESPN next year for baseball coverage.
yeah, it's sad, but I mean, I'm not against it.
Yeah, they
Um,
gotta. It's gonna be Fox, I guess. Fox and TBS.
yeah. Okay. Well, that will do our Jerry Jones. My fan tribute. I'm trying to think of who. But I just got to shout out a little bit of tennis, I think, right? French Open just finished up, so Coco and Carlos, two of the bright young stars in the tennis world now. Also shout out Coco because, USA. So, both of them bringing home the French Open that just concluded. Really good matches from both of them, and it's just good to see like the young talent and the big names get the big wins, right? One of the Grand Slams, or one of the what do they call it actually? They call it a Grand Slam like title, I guess, because you got to win four for it to be the Grand Slam officially. I think that's how it is because like golf, right? Like
Yeah.
you got to win the four major ones. So one of them, but yeah, always to see like the bright young stars that get all the popularity, be able to win the big tournaments. So and tennis is pretty exciting, I think, for the most part because it's so back and forth. Um, but yeah, I have to want to give them a quick shout out, and then my other one, I just want to shout out all the bench players in this NBA Finals because I think they're deserving of uh of some love, even though we talked about them a lot. But honestly, I can't get over Nemhard's move that he put on Shea. Like that thing was so nasty, and I'm like, just out of nowhere. Like I didn't even know he had a bag like that, and he just hit
Everybody has a bag in the
casually.
NBA now.
But just like to casually pull that out with like a minute to go in the game one of the NBA Finals over the MVP, it's like, oh yeah, let me just hit this like like tween cross tween step back. Yeah, no big deal. Just like, oh yeah, every single player is good. So, but yeah, that's my fan tribute for this week.
Okay, and last but not least, sports fact of the day. We are recording on Sunday, June 8th, and I'll throw it back to 2018 when the Golden State Warriors won their third title in a span of 4 years and a back-to-back championship, actually, with this year, with a 108-85 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers with a sweep, and a guy by the name of Kevin Durant winning Finals MVP for the second straight year. Probably one of the most unfair teams in the history of the NBA to ever be assembled. But I'll just leave it at that. It took all of that to beat one man.
Yep. Yeah, we keep bringing up the golf conversations, but yeah. Um, okay, Matt. Well, it was gonna be a quick one. I know you gotta get off and get ready for your trip tomorrow. So yeah, Matt and I will have some discussions before the final episode. We'll see. Maybe there'll be some guests. I don't even know what we're gonna do yet, to be honest, but we'll go out with a bang for sure. Whatever we decide to do, we'll make it count. One last, hurrah for the time being. But we'll just leave it as a surprise for now. Because I mean, to be honest, it's gonna
Because we
be a
don't know what
surprise to
we're
us because we don't know,
doing.
right? Hey, so it's definitely gonna be a surprise. But yeah, guys, appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around. Have a good week. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys in the finale.